How's it going, everybody? So this is going to be my 300 hour of active immersion using immersion-based learning. For y'all who do not know, every 100 hours of active immersion meaning I'm watching something, I'm reading something. Not we're not that doesn't include grammar study or anything like that. For every 100 hours, I make an update video. This is the 300-hour mark. You can check in my channel for the 200 and the 100-hour mark of how are things progressing so far with mass immersion through Spanish. And today we're going to be going through a lot of different stuff. Hopefully, I'm going to try to make this video really quick because honestly, I'm kind of tired, but it doesn't really matter. So we're going to be going through, I'm going to give you my impressions of my progress so far. I'm going to be giving you, so how's everything going, things like that. I'm going to be showing you my Anki stuff. That's going to be really quick. My immersion tracker, because I do have a PDF showing how much immersion and at what times and things like that. We'll go through that. That'll be quick. And shows that I'm immersing with, because why not? And then, so those are going to be the main documents that I'm showing you. Other than that, that's about it. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so one of the main things I've been feeling this past 100 mark. So it's been about a month and a half since the last video, or probably maybe 2 months, since I'm last made the last video. I've been having a lot of frustrations with not being able to output simple things. Mainly because I'll some Spanish phrase or some kind of phrase will pop in my head because I've seen it a lot. I don't even doesn't it doesn't even mean that I'm doing anything studying Spanish. Like I'll be washing dishes or something like that, and a phrase will pop up in my head, and my brain will like want to say it, or even just I'll get anxiety from even those most minimal amount of contact with like Spanish situations because I'm not sure if I'm making mistakes. I'm not sure if that's the right word at the right time because I don't have enough awareness. I haven't started outputting, so I don't know what's like, even for very basic things, I don't know what's considered good to say and not. So like I was having someone said something to me and I responded claro, and I was like, "Oh, yeah," but then my brain got anxiety cuz I'm like, "Wait, am I is this the good thing to say? Is maybe I should just said C. Like, why did I say claro? Maybe that was wrong, and so I don't like having that anxiety. I want to at least be confident. At least be confident saying simple stuff. Like, if I'm not confident saying simple stuff, then that's annoying. So I've been facing some frustrations because um, I can feel the Spanish like just bubbling up. Like I can create simple sentences and I can really speak about a good amount even without even trying to speak. And not like I said, I don't try to speak, but sometimes you just kind of can't help it. Stuff comes up in a million immersion or you say something. I've been practicing my pronunciation a lot though. I will say that I have definitely just because I try not to create speech, but I definitely do practice my pronunciation to make sure that to where get to a point where it feels natural. So yeah, that's one of the main things I've been noticing is I've been having a lot of frustrations with my lack of output ability, even just a little bit. So because of that, I've been thinking about pushing my output, or when I want to start output, because originally when I first started, like day one, I was thinking, okay, maybe 500 hours, will be a good point to start outputting. And then I got really excited and 'cause I saw other people's progress, and I was like, screw it, 400 hours at the 400-hour mark. So my plan, regardless of when I start outputting, is going to be either at the 400 or 500. Honestly, depends. Once I get to 400, how do I feel? Do I feel like starting it? Do I not? What am I going to do? Because so I have a plan. So I want to use um, so my plan is I want to use italki because I've used italki before in the past to learn Esperanto, and it got my output ability really good. Like at the very least for a base, and then I'll kind of carry it through there. So I know I personally want to use italki. I want to talk with a tutor, at least like I said, for the beginning until I feel confident and secure about at the very least basic concepts, basic things, basic phrases, and ways to express yourself. Um, so I'm planning on doing 4 lessons a week of italki. So Monday, Tuesday, break on Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday. I'll do 4 italki lessons while doing my normal output. I mean not output, while doing my normal immersion on top of that. and I'll do that for like 4 weeks, right? It's probably gonna be expensive. Nah, probably not too expensive. So basically like $40 a week. So not too expensive, honestly. For to for doing that, just to get my output, and I want to do that to get my output to a really good level. Then once I've done that, I want to like hop on like VR chat or some kind of chat rooms and chat more with natives and kind of do like that. And then once I feel like I got to a solid level, then again while I'm still immersing at the same time, it's not like this isn't taking away from any of my immersion. This is just adding more to the plate. So at first I was thinking, okay, 500 hours. Then I moved it back to 400 because I really was excited to start outputting. But then as I get humbled a few more times in Spanish, I'm just like, maybe 500 will be a good mark to do it. But also, I don't want to push it back to 600 regardless because I think the problem with immersion based learning sometimes is when you withhold, or not necessarily with immersion based learning, just a problem when you withhold output in general for a very long time. You get to the point where it feels more and more daunting to keep on withholding output, right? The longer you wait, the better your comprehension gets, the better your other skills get in comparison to output. And so output becomes way more daunting of a task. And so I think that, yeah, I definitely wouldn't want to push it back to 600. It'll either be at $400 or $500. I'll update you. Oh, I also want to record every single session I make and kind of string it together in some kind of montage. Um, from when I first start speaking to like for it's probably like maybe a video or sections per week. Because I want to record every single session I do. Obviously I'm gonna make sure the teacher's cool with that. Just record the sessions and string together some kind of montage so I can show my progress with output. Because I'm pretty sure I'm gonna make pretty quick progress if I get more and more comfortable with the outputting. So based on my pace now, I should be hitting 400 hours at the end of or sometime around in December. And so I was planning on starting my output January. This output, which would be the 400-hour mark. But I might start if I really ramp up my immersion. It depends on how I do it, but I might end up doing it at the 500 mark, which should be sometime around February or March. Again, we'll just have to see how I feel. How I feel once I hit 400 hours. Do I feel like doing it? Because honestly, it's gonna be a lot of work. Because I'm gonna have to do that before I go to work. I'm gonna have to have Anki lessons so I can record and have the good enough sound quality with my main setup and not the. Because I have a crappy little laptop I use for immersing when I'm away from my desktop, and the vast majority of my immersion I do when using that laptop. So I'm gonna have to record my sessions here, which means I'm gonna have to do it before work, and that could be a pain because I'm gonna have to fit in working out and doing my lessons all before work. So yeah, that's basically the plan I have. My plan for starting output, and then from there I'll take it. Yes, so I'll do that for like 4 weeks. Then I'll take it from there and just do my own outputting, just talking a lot. If I want to keep doing it, or if I want to just shut up after that and just go back to immersion, I'll probably do just a little bit here and there, because I live in Texas again. There's a lot of Spanish around me, so yeah, that's gonna be my plan for output. Regarding my progress so far, anything different from the 200-hour mark to 300-hour mark? Yeah, a lot of difference, but mainly it's the same kind of difference, right? Where like you just understand more words, you can comprehend more things. My vocabulary is significantly bigger. Like I started reading in this 300-hour mark or the 200 to 300-hour mark. I started reading a light novel, so Overlord. Mainly because I read it. I'm on book 11 or volume 11 in English. I haven't touched it since I started reading in Spanish. So I just started again from volume 1 in Spanish since I've already read it, and I'm able to pretty comfortably read it. It's just a matter of vocab. So, but it's even not even a lot of vocab, maybe like 4 or 5 words per page. That maybe even more than that, cuz no, probably more. Let's say 5 to 10 words per page possibly. But these are like very frilly words, very words that you don't really it's cool if you don't understand them because it doesn't really take away from the meaning of maybe it doesn't sound as poetic because you don't understand the words, but other than that, no. So I've been really ramping up my reading this time. I'm already halfway. I'll show you later. I'm already halfway to, probably more than halfway than the whole last quarter, and I'm only a month into this next quarter. So my reading split instead of being like first it was like 90-10, then it was like 60-40. Now it's like, or 60 active. It was 90-10 active, so 90% active immersion, 10% reading. Then it was 60% active, 40% reading. Now it's looking more like 60% reading, 40% active. Mainly because I'm just really enjoy reading that light novel. Plus, like I said, I've for the most part wrapped up. I've caught up with solo leveling, so that takes whenever that comes out. Whenever they release uh, new chapters, then I'll read that. Anything else I'm reading? I'm gonna after Overlord, at least the first volume. I'm gonna start reading volume two, but I'm also gonna get on to Percy Jackson. So yeah, basically, long story short, been reading a lot. Reading is really dope. Really, reading is really fun, especially when I have my setup where I read on a computer. Because I mean, I have the books here, but yeah, I'd it's more of a headache when you try to read with the physical books. Better to like say I can highlight, I can create Anki cards really quickly. It's really smooth and ergonomic with my setup. I don't know. Or efficient. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, that's how I've been with reading novels. One thing I've noticed, I've gotten very comfortable with a lot of the grammatical stuff. So like, what do you call it? Reflexive verbs, something like that, and pronominal verbs are really comfortable now for me. But from time to time when I'm reading, I notice I sometimes get lost with who is saying what to who and what, because since everything's dropped and then you have like the third person pronoun can mean he, she, or it. It kind of gets, and then the same thing with the direct and indirect object, and it gets real easy. So sometimes I'll be reading, and I'll understand, but then I'll just get who said what wrong or who said what to who wrong. Sometimes I notice I'm like, ugh, because it gets vague because it can be any one of these kind of things. So the gender of the thing helps out a lot though when it's like, well, no, I mean it depends, man. But yeah, so I noticed that's a difficult thing. Also, I've been having difficulty with my comprehension of native content. So like, I'm getting to the point where I can pretty comfortably understand dubs. But when I'm watching like a native show, so I've been watching Sylvana Sin Lana, and it's especially specific characters are very tough. Like, cause it's not even just the speed. Cause I'm getting to the point where I can understand native speakers that speak clearly well. It's the problem with native speakers that speak quickly but not clearly. So like they just slur all the words or they drop words, and it's really tough. So when you're watching, and then there's so much slang too. Um, it gets really tough. So I'm having difficulties with my comprehension, but it's significantly better. Like I rewatched Kung Fu Panda. Kung Fu Panda is one of my favorite movies of all time. I watched it when I was 2 months in, and my comprehension was at around a two, or was around like a 2 to 3. So if you don't know what I'm referring to but so if you don't know, I'm referring to the levels of comprehension. I'll post it like on the screen right now. My comprehension was around a 2 to a 3, but I rewatched it like I rewatched it last week, and it was like a solid 5. And I was only rewinding and I was only rewinding just because I was like wanted to mine some more stuff, some stuff that I couldn't hear the first time I watched it, and it was like night and day. There was specific scenes that I remember watching it the first time. I was like, yeah, I got nothing out of that scene, like a single, maybe one word, here or there out of that entire scene, like 4 minute or 3 minute scene. Then I rewatched. I'm like, oh yeah, of course he said that. Oh yeah, of course he said that. Oh yeah, yeah, like super easy. Um, so yeah, really hyped about that. Showed me how much I progressed. Really enjoyed that. So yeah, my comprehension is pretty good in terms of my vocab. I'm really liking where my vocab's at. Still got a lot more to go. Give me 6 more months, and I'm really gonna be liking where I'm at, especially when I get to the point where I'm outputting. Like I said, I'm 6 months in. I think November is my 7th month. I'm 6 months in to like officially starting it, like getting serious with my immersion and actually doing it on a day-to-day basis. I technically started the New Year's, right? New Year's resolution, but I was only doing like 3 hours or 3 days a week or 3 days a month. Oh, I wish it was 3 days a week. 3 days a month of immersion. So I was basically still at like a very low beginner level. I had no, wasn't really studying every day. It was more like I would do it for 2 days and then drop it for the rest of the month. So yeah, I really count from this is from I want to say May or March. I think March. I technically count from March to now is when I officially started because that's when I actually got consistent and was actually doing it every day or doing it decent for most part every day. Anyway, so yeah, I'm also having an issue with my passive listening. So the problem is, I'm now gotten to the point. I've said in my previous videos that I'm not really worried about passive listening because right now it's just gibberish, and so there was no point in me having it in my ear as much because I didn't feel the impact as much. Now I'm to the point where I definitely feel the impact if I had passive listening, but I kind of get annoyed with passive listening. Mainly because I have some my ears are weird. When I'm wearing, it's hard for me to wear headphones all day or earbuds specifically all day. It's hard for me to wear earbuds all day because my ears are shaped funny, I guess, and they all I've tried a billion different earbuds and they all slide out, they fall out, or if they do stick, my ears get really sore after about 30, 40 minutes. It gets really, really sore and I have to take them out and it's just like right. I can even I can try that with headphones as well. Headphones are better, but one, I get really hot with headphones, and two, I have an afro, and so headphones just don't work. They're just gonna have my I'm just gonna be looking crazy, with my headphones in at work. You can't have headphones at work anyway, but it just doesn't work. It's hard for me to do stuff because, like I said, they fall out really easy at like literally every couple minutes. I still have some headphones. I have some true wireless headphones. These are some Jaybird, what I forget what it is, but they're really good sound, really good bass. But like I said, I've tried from AirPods, all kinds of different headphones, and they all just fall out and slide out eventually. And like I said, if they don't and they stick too well, then my ear gets really sore. So that the only I do technically get passive listening, and that's when I'm listening to my radio when I'm driving. But I have it on Spanish radio, where so it's like music and then 5 minute commercial break, then music again. So I don't really count the music, but I don't track it though. So if you look at my tracker, I don't really track any of that because it's so inconsistent between music and commercials. But it is definitely is passive listening, so I'm getting some in. But I could technically, when I get in the car, put on something, but again, that becomes a pain in the ass. Because it's like I have an old car, so I have to like put in the aux cable and find something and to passive immersion with. So to passively immerse with. So passive immersion's honestly been kind of a pain in the ass, and I need to ramp it up. I think I need to definitely ramp it up, especially since I'm going to be starting outputting soon, at least within the next 3 months. So I want to start ramping up my passive immersion, but it's hard for me to put a system in place to where it's easy, right? Because the only way I would be able to do it is if I had it playing out loud or for very short bursts with headphones on. Like I said, like 30 minutes or less. I can't just have it on all day. And so yeah, it's annoying. I still need to figure it out. At the very least get some in. But like I do get some in, but get more in. But I don't know. We'll see with passive listening. But for right now, it's kind of a pain in the ass. Also, I've been playing. I also started playing video games. From time to time, I've been playing Horizon Zero Dawn and Halo Reach on the PC and with Spanish dub. Video games, it does help. It helps with some vocab stuff like that. But for the most part, I don't really count it. I don't track any hours with playing video games. It's a guilty pleasure if anything. So don't even worry about that. But other than that, so yeah, we're going to go and check Anki. Actually, so we're gonna get started with I'm gonna show you guys my immersion tracker. So let me get that set up. Okay, so this is my immersion tracker, and as you can see right here, I have 320 hours of immersion. I hit 300 hours in about 50 days, so my pace is kind of getting quicker. So I hit 200 hours in 55 days. This is when I hit the marks. October 22nd. As you can see, it's been a couple weeks because well, the week because I usually record these on a weekend. So one week was I ended up doing something with my brothers. Another week was Halloween. So yeah, I'm doing this much later than normal. recording the video. So yeah, as you can see, these are the quarters. This is mainly what I pay attention to. Yeah. So far this month of November, I have 6 hours of active immersion. So the green is active, blue is passive, and yellow is reading. So 6 hours of active and 2 hours of reading. But as you can see, this is what I want to show you right here. So last quarter, so each quarter is 3 months. So quarter four is October, November, December, and quarter three was the last 3 months before that. So uh, August, September. So uh, July, August, September. Yeah. So quarter three was July, August, September. Quarter four was October, November, December. So last quarter, I finished with 120 hours of active immersion and 52 hours of reading. And so it was, like I said, it was around a 60-40 split in terms of active watching something and reading something. But right now, so far, I'm on pace. I have 26 hours of active and 32 hours of reading. So, and 6 hours of passive. But again, eh. Um, so yeah, you can see that I'm definitely reading a lot more. Um, I'm trying to maintain like at least a 50 hours a month to be on pace. That's why of active immersion a month, but it's kind of tricky because I want to get the my minimum for what I need to do if I have a headache or I'm not feeling it is get an hour of active immersion. That's my minimum I need to get. Weekends are kind of iffy because honestly I don't do like I sometimes struggle on the weekends. I talked about that in my last video. So I what's important to me is getting in my hours of active immersion. Or my minimum. So my minimum is 30, but 50 is what I shoot for. And now I'm thinking probably start ramping that up even more. But yeah, I mean, other than that, that's all I guess I really need to show you. I'm at 320 hours, blah, blah, blah. I just need to show you that. Okay. So now this is my Anki. This is the deck right here. You can just see my what I've been doing. I've kind of been that weekend was just not the day for or not the weekend for Spanish. Um, Now I am. Let me see. Been adding cards a little bit more consistently since I've started reading more. It's a bit easier to add cards, but I still miss days of adding because it is what it is. But I'm at 945 cards so far. So yeah, at 945 cards, it's gonna be cool when I get to 1,000 mark. I don't know why, but I definitely know way more cards. I mean, I definitely know way more words than I have cards because I don't add consistently, and it is what it is. So yeah, that's that. I don't or whatever my retention rate is. I don't know. Yeah, it's a 99% past month, whatever. You have a really high retention rate, or I've had a really high retention rate in Spanish, I guess, compared to like Japanese or like Korean when you have to read the kanji, and that's a big barrier. On average, it takes me about 15 or 10 to 15 minutes to do my reps, but today, since I missed so many days, and I missed yesterday. I have to do. It took me about 32 minutes today. So yeah, that's about it with that. And this is my immersion. This is the list of immersion. Oh, what am I saying? This is a list of shows I've watched or immersion resources or content that I've used. So obviously, this is a show website that shows you like you can watch a bunch of kid shows, not really kid shows, but shows from your 90s shows, early 2000s shows. Like I said, they have all kinds of stuff on there. Netflix. Anything I've been watching so far that sticks out? Not really, man. You've seen this. I've added some new shows. I'm halfway through, I guess, or almost halfway through with this light novel that I've been reading so far. Keep track of my pages. Almost caught up with Soul Leveling. They just released two more chapters, so that's why I was at first. Everything else, like I said, I watched Kung Fu Panda twice, Coco twice. It is what it is, man. These ones in gray stuff I haven't watched yet, but I do have on the list because I wanted to keep track of them. Remember, um, still need to utilize Netflix more, but it is what it is. I watch a lot of YouTube as well. Probably more YouTube than I watch of anything do of anything else because YouTube is pretty interesting. I think that's about it, man. I think that is um if I remember correctly. So yeah, this has been that. I'm gonna chop this video down and post it. So yeah, that's been everything, man. So far progress is good. I really want to start outputting soon, like I said, within the next 3 months or so, just to get a basic level so I feel more confident. Um, It's tricky because with well, there's no new revelations or anything you make because it's like once you get in the groove with like immersion based learning or like refold or slash AJAT slash MIA slash Migaku slash whatever the hell you want to call it. Once you get into that, it's like you get into the groove and you do the same thing. The process the exact same. It's just the content you use for it is different. So it's nothing new that you haven't heard, right? It's there's no new shocking revelations except for output. That's like the main thing now that's just like looming over my head. Grammar stuff is just a matter of getting used to it. Like I said, the subjunctive, por para, whatever. But again, I'm not outputting, so it's not really a big issue right now. When I start outputting, that might be an issue. But other than that, man, that's it. That's all we got. So yeah, see ya.